potentially millions of people could have been misled by some recent headlines claiming that the government has dropped plans to increase the pension age to 67. The actual truth is that the law is already in place for this, and this is misinformation that's being posted online. So I just wanted to cover it in a bit more detail, as well as some other pension information that might be useful. So first of all, my name is Steve. I'm not a financial advisor at all, so anything that I say in this video is not advice. Please check all the information out for yourself. Your situation will be unique to you. So first of all, we've got these couple of articles which I'm going to show you on screen, where I've seen, if you do a type into Google now and just say pension age dropped or pension age of 67 dropped, you'll get a couple of articles come up. This came up on my Google News feed, so I'm sure that Google doesn't really vet all of these news articles, but it looks like there's two websites publishing this news saying that the government have effectively dropped the plans to increase the pension age to 67. Now, this is already written into law. It's already set out that the the pension age of 66 is going to increase to 67. It's going to be phased between 2026 next year and 2028. I'm going to go through some details of how that actually works, because I've looked into it extensively, and I'll put some links in the description to show you how you can find out that information for yourself. So the articles in question are quite detailed. They go into reasons why the government have done this, and talk about the cost of living and the fact that when they've reviewed it, the people aren't actually living as long as they thought so before, and so now they're going to change the pension age, drop it down to 66 for everybody, and it won't have this phasing. This is completely untrue. Best way to check for your personal circumstances to check your pension age will be to go onto there's a link that I've put in the description. Again, check the link, make sure that the link is correct. Make sure you type it into your browser properly. Don't just click on the link in the description. That's really just for information. You go onto the government website, which is gov.uk. Click on pensions, and then there's a pension checker, and you can click on there and it will tell you, put in your date of birth, and it will tell you when you will be able to claim your state pension. What I'm also going to cover in this video is how you can get into the government gateway, if you haven't already, and access information about how much national insurance you've paid. Are you fully paid up? Have you opted out? Have you got anything that could affect your full state pension entitlement? I'm going to cover all that later in the video. So first of all, I'm just going to go through the quite complicated phasing of the pension age increase from 66 to 67. Basically, it only affects anyone who was born after the 5th of, or on or after the 6th of April 1960. And I've written out a spreadsheet which I'm going to put on the screen at some point, which you can sort of freeze and then have a look at. And I think I've got it right, but do double check with the government pension checker. And that will show you the month and year in which you'll be eligible for your pension based on your date of birth. Basically, it's being phased. So if you turn 66 between April 26 and April 28, then you'll find some phasing, as in you turn 66, but you might have to wait a month. You might not be able to claim it immediately. So although it doesn't jump from 66 to 67, it kind of adds on months in between. And the spreadsheet that I'll show you on screen will demonstrate how that works. So it could be plus 1 month, plus 2 months, plus 11 months, whatever, depending on when you were born between 1960 and 1961. Hopefully that all makes sense. It should do if you just check the spreadsheet, but also check the government checker. Right, government gateway. If you log into your government gateway, now if you're self-employed and you do tax returns, you'll already have a government gateway login, which is a long number followed by a password, and then they quite often do double security by texting you a link or a number to your phone. If you haven't logged in, if you're not self-employed and you don't do tax returns and you haven't logged in for whatever reason, haven't claimed benefits in the past or anything like that at all, you may not have a government gateway login, and it's quite a useful thing to have because it will go back over your national insurance contributions and give you a list. And I'm going to show you some screenshots of mine, hopefully going in the video as well, where it will show you any contributions that you haven't made fully in the years leading up to when you claim pension. So how you get your gateway is you click on register or create a gateway login. You click on that button and then fill out all the details, verify your ID and everything else, and then they send you. It's like in the old days when they used to send you a PIN number with a debit card or something. They'll send you a PIN number in like a secure envelope. So you'll get a gateway login in the post, and then you can log in. So as I say, once you're logged in, you can actually do a proper forecast of what pension you're likely to receive. Currently, the weekly amount is £230.25, I believe, per week. Now, when I logged into mine, it's coming up with £221. So I'm about just over £8 short a week on my pension. However, as long as I continue to have over the next 2 years, at least 2 years fully paid up national insurance, and I'm going to cover how that kind of works in a second, because you don't necessarily have to pay it to be fully paid up. As long as I'm like that for the next 2 years, then when I turn 67, because I'm well out of the phasing, I will receive my state pension. I'll get the full entitlement. So basically what's happened is it's showing me as fully paid up for pretty much all years. There's 4 years that it's saying there's some sort of discrepancy. Some of those years were during the COVID era, when we claimed universal credit for I think about 2 years, maybe 1 year, no, about a year actually. When my deliveries just stopped, all restaurants stopped doing deliveries and my work just stopped, and they did a special dispensation for people in that kind of industry where we were able to claim universal credit just to get us through that hard time. However, that should have shown as fully paid up national insurance contributions, but it hasn't. Now, I can't be bothered to argue because it's so difficult to get hold of the HMRC, but looking at it, I've only got if as long as I'm paid up for the next 2 years, then I should be absolutely fine. So and I've got till 2037 to get it sorted out, because I can't claim until my pension until 2038, which seems so way off right now. It's only 12 years time, but as we all know, time flies very, very fast. There's also a section at the bottom that says that if you've opted out of, it says I've opted out of SERPS, and that could affect the pension entitlement as well if you've opted out of SERPS. Now, it says on the Government Gateway site that if you were working before 2016, then all of you would have been very likely to have been opted out of SERPS. Now, I didn't really know exactly what that meant, so I've looked into it in a bit more detail. I sat down with a financial advisor back in the 80s who helped me opt out of SERPS. It seemed like a good idea at the time, and it redirected some of my national insurance payments, so you get a reduced national insurance payment, and it redirected some of those payments into an investment plan, which I didn't realise at the time. Come 2016, when I left my main job, I looked into it in a bit more detail, and I had there was a company called Choices. It was Choices Personal Pension Plan, and I had 14 grand in there from my redirected national insurance contributions. Now, not everyone's going to be lucky enough to have that. I've subsequently more than doubled that by investing it properly in a SIP. But what it means about anyone who's working prior to 2016 means that if they were in an occupational pension, like a government scheme or something like that, like for instance, my wife worked for local government, she would have automatically been opted out of SERPS into their particular scheme. So there's not like she's got some separate pension pot like I had with this Choices thing. It would have been redirected into her defined benefit final salary scheme, which she's got a reduced payment now. It's not a lot because she was only part-time at the time. But anyway, that's how being opted out of SERPS could affect you, because you had your national insurance contributions were redirected into another scheme to help bolster that scheme, whatever that scheme was. And that can sometimes reduce your weekly allowance for personal pension. But as long as you've made the full 35 years of contributions, then there's nothing to stop you, even if you have opted out of SERPS, through whatever reason, nothing to stop you having the full state pension as long as you've met that requirement. So that, again, Government Gateway is a very useful way of checking all of that. Just going back to the article purporting to that the government's changed its plans around the increase from 66 to 67. The one of the people that's actually written that article has also published another article today, on the same day, saying that the government have now put restrictions on what you can withdraw from your pension. You can no longer take lump sums from your pension. You're now limited to the amount you can actually take. This is utter rubbish. It's complete misinformation again. I think they're just doing it to get advertising revenue for their website. But it's coming up on Google, and it could potentially affect a lot of people if you don't check out the facts for yourself. So just to reiterate, you can absolutely take 25% lump sum from your personal pension tax-free, and that's up to a total value of £268,275. So for you to have a 25% lump sum of that amount, you'd have to have a pension pot of £1,073,100. I'm not anywhere near that. I've got around, let's say, 150,000. So 25% of that will be 37,500, which I can have tax-free. Even if that amount is then added to my income for that year, it doesn't matter. I'll only pay tax on my income if it was over my tax-free threshold of 12,570. But that pension, that 25%, is tax-free. It's not taxable. It's not taxable income at all. But this video is not about tax. That's a whole other minefield, and one that I'm certainly not going to even try and talk about. The article that I talked about initially as well also claims that the government and DWP websites and all their checkers have been all updated, which is it's not at all. So to get the up-to-date information, go to gov.uk, if you're in the UK, obviously. Outside of the UK, I don't know how it all works. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today. I'll tell you what, time is really flying. You know, I've got about, it's coming up to about 6 months' time now. It was 7 or 8 months, not long ago. So these months are just flying by. Before I look to stop working in March next year. Winter's coming along, as you can see. It's really cold. Got my full winter shirt on and big socks. But yeah, we're coming into winter, and I'm sure it won't feel very long before we're in spring again. Massive thank you, by the way, to everybody who helped with my last video. I mentioned that we'd had sort of a change in the algorithm around YouTube, and there's a new system called Hype. So thank you so much for helping me with that. Hype, just for those who don't know, is a new way of getting smaller channels like mine to be put in front of more viewers, and it's basically on mobile only. And if you're subscribed to the channel, sometimes you can get the option of Hype if the video is less than 7 days old, and a lot of you really helped out with that. And it pushed me up to what they do is they publish a list on mobile of hyped videos, and it's like a top 100, and we are so far about number 8. That's really helped a lot. It made a big difference. Thank you. And of course, thanks again to all our members and everyone who supported the channel with super thanks, likes and subscribes. It all helps keep the channel going. I really appreciate it. Right, so I'm off now. I'm going to go and have a nice cup of coffee. I'm going to pop the spreadsheet thing that I've just done. I'm going to pop that back up on the screen for you. And as I say, make sure that you check out, if your own specific situation, go to, the horse's mouth, so to speak, go to gov.uk. Also, just to add, I tried to confirm or deny the news articles that I'd found, and I was getting some clarification on how the pension increase is going to work, the phasing, and even AI messed up big time. So the best way to do it really is from the UK Gov website. And in the meantime, I appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you on the next video.